Hello there, I'm Angelo. Today I'll be showing you Sprouts, the basics of Final Fantasy, and lots of stuff that the game doesn't tell you. I'll explain the do's and the don'ts, what I recommend doing right away, things to wait for, and more. This video is for new players who just bought the game or people wanting to know how to get good. I hope you enjoy. Now on to the video. There's a website called Console Games Wiki that's really helpful. It has lots of info on Final Fantasy and I definitely recommend checking it out. I'll explain some commonly used terms by the community, both technical words and slang words. I made another video on an introduction into high-end rating, and there I talk about some terms too, so you can check that out. Sprouts. This is you. You're a sprout. You see that little icon next to your name? It's a little flower, which means you're a novice. Sprout is a term that the community made, but the technical term is a novice. Once you progress some, you'll lose the icon. Mentor. Mentors have golden crowns by the name. Their purpose is to provide advice and feedback to you. Buff is an enhancement. Debuff is a detriment. Hotbar. Hotbar is a bar that has 12 slots for you to bind keys to them. You'll put your actions on here. Cross hotbar. This is the controller version of hotbars. Use triggers and controller buttons to use actions on here. MSQ stands for main scenario quests or main story quests. Market board. This is the retail space for players to sell items. Use your retainer as a middleman to sell. Sometimes people will abbreviate it as MB. MIT, short for mitigation. This means to reduce something such as damage taken. CD stands for cooldown. Area of effect. Deals damage or heals to multiple targets in the surrounding area. In dungeons, you'll be doing damaging AoEs a lot. Make sure to read the tooltips to see which actions are AoEs. Use AoEs on 3 or more people as it's a damage gain. Fates stands for full active time event. These are mini fights and bosses that reward little amounts of XP and gil. Later expansions, Fates reward bicolored gemstones, which can be spent on a variety of things. Fates are also how you will farm for relic weapons, which is a type of weapon. Dot/hot stands for damage over time and heal over time. Limit break, also abbreviated as LB. This is a powerful tool that can be wielded to your advantage. Healers' limit breaks heal their party, and on the third charge, it will revive every dead player. Tank limit break will provide their party with a strong defense, and DPS LB deals a powerful attack. Melee DPS deals a very powerful single target attack. Fizz range deals a less powerful line AoE attack. Same thing with caster, but it's a circle AoE. Enmity and aggro. This is the amount of attention you have on enemies. Tanks should have the highest enmity as they have the tank stance that increases their enmity. Trash/ads. These are less threatening enemies. In dungeons, trash packs are the groups of mobs that you pull and kill between bosses. You'll use your AoEs on these. Ads are similar to trash. During fights, sometimes the boss will spawn extra enemies, which are called the ads. Raid-wide, damage that goes out to the whole party. Healers will need to heal the party after these, and everyone, including healers and DPS, can use mitigation to reduce damage taken. TB stands for Tank Buster. These are heavy-hitting attacks. Tanks should always take these. Make sure to use at least one MIT. Those are some commonly used words. If someone says something that you don't understand, just ask them what they mean and they'll probably explain it. Getting started. When you first open the game, a few cutscenes will play that explain some of the lore. I recommend listening to the story as it's really good, and don't skip cutscenes. If you really want to skip cutscenes, you can look at story recaps that other YouTubers made. They're pretty good. Now you have to pick a data center and world to play on. There are 4 regions: North America, Europe, Japan, and Oceania. Each region has 3 to 4 data centers, and each data center has several worlds. The world and data center you pick doesn't matter because you'll be able to travel between them. I'd recommend picking the same one as your friends if you can. The region you pick will determine your latency. Picking a race. Now you have to pick a race and design your character. Each race has their own lore and design. Pick whichever one you like the most. You can always change your race and appearance with the Fantasia, which costs about $10. Note that some races require you to purchase an expansion. Picking a class. Here, you're going to pick a class to start as. There are 3 roles: tanks, DPS, and healer. I'll explain each role's importance later. The starting classes you can pick are the following. For tanks, Gladiator, which upgrades to Paladin, and Marauder, which upgrades to Warrior. For healers, Conjurer, which upgrades to White Mage. For DPS, Lancer, which upgrades to Dragoon, Pugilist, which upgrades to Monk, Thaumaturge, which upgrades to Black Mage, Archer, which upgrades to Bard, and Arcanist, which upgrades to both Summoner and Scholar. Scholar is a healer. Once you reach level 10, you'll be able to unlock Rogue, which upgrades to Ninja. With Final Fantasy, you can unlock all the jobs and switch between them at your will. So pick whichever one you feel looks fun, because as you progress, you can unlock and equip to others. There are more jobs besides the starting ones, and I'll go over that later. Okay, now you've designed your character and picked your class. The game gives a pretty good tutorial on how to start and where to go. Always read active help menus whenever they pop up, and those dialogue bubbles that pop up usually are white, which is text from the NPCs. Read the gray ones, because those are system messages that are explaining to you what to do. You can go to main menu, system, active help to see all of them if you want, and review them. As you travel through Eorzea, you'll encounter enemies, be it in dungeons, trials, or raids, or the overworld. You'll have to kill these enemies before they kill you. You kill them using weapon skills, spells, and abilities. At level 1, you'll only have 1 damaging skill. You unlock more as you level up. There are 3 roles: tanks, healers, and DPS. There are 3 types of DPS, mainly DPS, which deal close quarters damage, physical range or phys range, which deal damage from afar, and magical DPS, which deal range damage but have to cast their spells, which means they have to stand still. Tanks are the beefiest. They have the highest health, good defense, and a good mitigation toolkit. The current roster of tanks as of Dawntrail are Paladin, Warrior, Dark Knight, and Gunbreaker. Healers are the saviors of the party. They cure players' healths, provide mitigation, get rid of detrimental effects, and resurrect players. The current healers as of Dawntrail are White Mage, Scholar, Sage, and Astrologian. DPS deal the most damage. They focus on mastering the rotation to deal as much damage as possible. The current DPS roster as of Dawntrail is Monk, Dragoon, Ninja, Samurai, Reaper, and Viper for melee DPS, Bard, Machinist, and Dancer for phys range DPS, Black Mage, Summoner, Red Mage, Pictomancer, and Blue Mage for caster. Although Blue Mage is a special one of the group, as it can't participate in content normally like the others. Unlocking jobs. When you start, you'll have 1 class. Once you reach level 10, you can unlock the other classes that were shown to you at the character creation. Once you reach level 30 on a class and complete class quests up to that level, you can upgrade to a job. For example, Lancer will upgrade to Dragoon, Archer will upgrade to Bard, Gladiator will upgrade to Paladin. Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, and Dawntrail released new jobs. Once you reach a certain level, you'll be able to unlock those jobs for that expansion. Example, you can unlock Machinist at level 50, which was released in Heavensward. You can unlock Reaper at level 70, which was released in Endwalker. These non-starting jobs don't have a class though. You automatically start as a job. Leveling. There are a variety of ways to level these jobs. Roulettes are probably the best way though. If you do these roulettes, you'll earn high XP. The priority of doing these roulettes is leveling roulette, frontline, or alliance, then depending on how much time you have, trials or MSQ. Trial roulettes give you the most XP per time, but they're very short, so you don't really get that much XP. MSQ roulettes give you a lot of XP, but they can take up to 35 minutes. Always eat food before doing a roulette. Food gives you a 3% XP boost for 30 minutes. This will add up over time. I always get hard-boiled eggs because they're cheap and give a small crit bonus, which I'm not sure if it even does anything, but it's still worth it. There are some worlds that give a road to 80 or 90 buff. My world doesn't, so I don't know how it works. You can also unlock the Wondrous Tales system at level 60, which is another way to earn XP faster. If you pre-order Dawntrail, you should have Azemia's earrings, which give an XP buff up to level 90. Role actions. Role actions are OGCDs that certain groups of jobs share. For example, all tanks have Rampart, which is a mitigation. All physical range DPS and melee DPS have Second Wind. All healers and casters have Swift Cast. There are other role actions that other jobs have. Auto attacks. There are attacks that go off each server tick, which is about 3 seconds. These are called auto attacks. Only physical jobs have them, which are tanks, melee DPS, and phys range. Casters and healers have them too, but they only tickle your enemy, and since you have to cast, they don't go off as often, and you have to be in melee range. GCDs. Weapon skills and spells are called GCDs, which stands for Global Cooldown, by the community. These are skills that have a global recast with each other. The recast time is usually 2.5 seconds, but some jobs have quicker recasts. Combos. Combos are strings of GCDs. Using the first GCD in a combo will power the second one. Then using the second one will power the third one, and so on and so forth. Almost every job has combos except for healers and some other DPS. Follow your combo string correctly. Abilities are called OGCDs, which stands for Off Global Cooldown, by the community. These are skills that have a variety of recast times, such as 30 and 60 seconds. They don't share recasts with each other, with the exception of few, but they have long recasts. They range from 5 seconds to 5 minutes. You can weave these in between GCDs. As you progress, you'll get more gear. If you hover over a piece of armor or weapon, you'll see an interface. It shows the name, physical and magical defense, the item level, which jobs can equip it, what level you have to be to use it, stats, condition, spirit bond, repair info, meld info, and NPC selling price. I'd only focus on which jobs can equip it, what level you have to be, and the stats it gives. Also, the icon of the armor may have a shimmering golden tint over it, which means it's high quality and it has higher stats. At first, optimizing gear isn't important, but in endgame content it is. At each major level point, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100, there's gear that you can buy with tombstones. These you should buy as they give a good stat boost and item level boost. Stats. There are different stats that impact your damage and defense in certain ways. Each role has their own damage type. Tanks and melee DPS, except for Viper and Ninja, have the strength stats. Viper and Ninja and all the phys range DPS have dexterity. Healers have the mind stat, and magical DPS have the intelligence stat. You have to pick gear that has the main stat that you need. If you're a Dragoon, you'll pick gear with strength. If you're a machinist, you'll want to get gear with the dexterity stat. If you're a white mage, you'll want to get gear with the mind stat. There are other substats such as critical hit, tenacity, piety, determination, and some others. Some of them improve your damage, while some others improve defense and mana regeneration. These don't matter as much in casual content, but in endgame content, you'll need to optimize. Questing. There are 3 main types of quests. Side quests, which are golden color and have an exclamation mark. These have small stories that can unlock emotes, gear, and mounts. Feature quests are blue with an exclamation mark and a plus sign on the bottom right. These unlock all sorts of content. They can range from small side stories that unlock emotes, gear, and mounts to big stories such as raids. If you see these, I recommend at least talking to the quest giver so it's in your journal so you can complete it later. Main scenario quests have a flame outline and an exclamation mark in the middle. This is the main story. You'll progress through this to level up and unlock all the content. Crafting and gathering. You may notice that there are some other jobs called crafters and gatherers, such as weaver, miner, botanist, fisher, or alchemist. Crafters craft items. These items range from gear to potions to furniture. Gatherers gather the materials used to craft these items. Crafted and gathered items can be sold on the market board for gil. Crafting and gathering is probably the best way to get gil. I wouldn't worry about it early on, but if you want to level, there are YouTube guides that explain how to level them from 1 to 100. Glamour. Glamoring is a system that allows you to change your armor and weapons appearance. Sometimes you'll get really goofy looking gear. What you'll do is right click on the armor piece in your character menu, click cast glamour, then pick the piece that you want it to look like. You can also make glamour presets using glamour plates. Go to an inn or your Grand Company Squadron barracks to access the glamour plates. You'll have to complete some quests to unlock the system. Retainers. Once you reach a certain level, you'll unlock retainers. These are your personal butlers that will do your dirty work for you. They sell items on the market board for you, sell items to NPCs for you, hold your trash and your gil. You can even glamour them. At first, you'll start with 2, but you can purchase more for real money. You can have your retainer be any job that you have unlocked, and that job can be leveled as high as you have that job leveled. Once you're max level and you're crafting and gathering, these are very important. They'll gather mass amounts of items for you so you can focus on other important things. There are YouTube videos that give guides on how to utilize them properly. The Duty Finder is a menu that you can use to queue into instances such as dungeons, trials, raids, and frontline. If you want, you can do these dungeons with NPCs too. Dungeons are mostly linear areas that you'll go through. You'll fight mobs, bosses, and get loot. For all dungeons, except for a few of the starting ones, you'll fight 3 bosses, 2 mini bosses, and 1 final boss. Dungeons are really easy. You don't need to have any knowledge when you first do it. You can even say in chat, first time, so people know you're new. There are criterion versions of these which are endgame difficulty. Trials. Trials are static 1 boss fights. You kill one main boss. Some will drop loot and some don't. These are also really easy. Same with dungeons. You can say first time so people know you're new. There are extreme and unreal versions of these which are endgame difficulty. Raids are special fights that can be unlocked through feature quests. These are also relatively easy. They drop good loot. With these you can also say first time so people know you're new. Each expansion has 3 sets of 4 raids. A Realm Reborn raids and Heavensward raids are a mixture of trials and dungeons. You'll progress through mini bosses and trash packs, and then there's the final boss at the end. Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, and Dawn Trail raids have a single boss fight similar to trials. There are savage versions of these which are endgame difficulty. If you want, you can look up guides on dungeons, trials, and raids, even if they're the normal, easy difficulty, just so you can have a little advantage. Final Fantasy XIV's community is really nice. You'll almost never encounter a toxic player unless you're toxic or actively throwing. I think you'll always have a better time using chat rather than just staying quiet the whole time. Just open it up, type the O/thingy, which looks like a person waving. I do this at the beginning of dungeons. If you ever need help, don't hesitate to ask and someone will help. There are different chat filters which allow you to talk to different groups of people. There are party, you type /P to type in party. Alliance, type /A to talk in alliance. /S to say, which is a small group around you. /Y to yell, which is a big group around you. And /shout to shout in the whole area. Party Finder is a system that allows you to group with others to complete different forms of content, such as treasure maps, fate farming, raiding, and more. You open up Party Finder, click recruit members, and set the settings to what you want to complete. Then publish and people can find it. Or if you'd like, you can join others. Collectibles. As you progress through Final Fantasy, you'll unlock collectibles such as minions and mounts. If you want to use a mount or a minion, open your inventory, right click on the thing you want to activate and click use. Then it'll be ready for you to use. Open your mount menu or minion menu to access all of your mounts and minions. Final Fantasy is a great game, but the default settings aren't optimal. I'll make a separate video explaining how to fix them, but I'll try to sum it up here. You have to know your priorities. If you're a raider, you're going to want more screen space to see mechanics and telegraphs and such. So display name settings, make them minimal. Put all your important combat things near to each other. Keep other unimportant non-combat things out of the center of the screen and make them smaller. If you're a crafter, you'll probably want to set up several hotbars with different macros for when you're max level. If you're farming casual content such as relics, then you can have more of a combat focused UI, but still have other unimportant non-raider things, bigger and more centered. A collapsible hotbar system can be very beneficial and also convenient. Desperius made a guide on how to do this, and I recommend checking it out. Now you have some knowledge on how to play and navigate through Eorzea. This is a social game, so you'll have to talk. You can't just stay silent the whole time. If you need help, please ask in chat. People are always going to help. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.